Okay, so what we want to talk about is this idea of applying rooting to your form, so it's not just a hippie acid dance, right? So I always like to use the term hippie acid dance. I've probably used this before. Is the idea that one time I was going to what was called Taste of China, and it was a Tai Chi tournament. It's been the only strictly Tai Chi tournament to ever exist in the West. But I was traveling, and I was broke, so I was traveling by bus, and I brought canned goods with me in a sleeping bag because I was determined to attend this tournament no matter what. And so the bus would stop, and it had a four-hour layover in Oklahoma City. And when I was there, every time I had a layover, I would stop and practice. So when I was practicing my form out there in the corner in Oklahoma City, the security guard came up to me and said, "Take that hippie acid dance back to California where it belongs." So I was like, wow, cool, can I use that? So that's the idea. So the way Tai Chi, if you're doing Tai Chi, many times when people are doing Tai Chi, it becomes very floaty when they're doing the form, because you will get this idea of this, it's soft and flowing, so everybody starts floating up when it's actually rooted, right? The idea is, what they say is root, the bottom half of the body is rooted, the top of the half of the body is lifted, right? So now what happens is, in order to do that, is, I'm going to borrow this for a second, is that this helps in terms of, I'm going to do this with each of you so you can feel this here. So stand, you're going to go here and give me a little bit of resistance. So this is the way this is working, is that you can see, this is actually a band that many physical therapists use to help you when they're trying to walk with you so you don't fall. So a little more resistance. So now, what I'm going to do here is that same thing. What the Tai Chi Classics say is to keep the sense of an opponent. And this is one of the aspects, is because Tai Chi is primarily a grappling art when you talk about it Chinese, when you talk about it is a martial art, it's primarily. So as I'm moving, here I'm going to just do the first few sections of the form, and I'm going to have each of you try that real quick. So you can see here, as I'm doing the form, I'm just going to do the opening here. Give me a little more resistance. Here. Even more resistance. There. And you see, as I'm moving constantly. As if I'm moving against resistance. So that no matter what I'm doing in the form, that's the same idea. So who wants to go next? Chris? So here, it's the same idea, just give me a little bit of resistance. There you go. So as I'm doing this here, same thing, a little more resistance, there you go. So as I up and down, and I'm trying to do this so each of you can feel that there's actually some force which is taking place in the lower part of my body. I'm not just drifting from stance to stance, a little more force, a little more resistance. There you go. So I'm not just drifting from stance to stance, I'm actually moving as if I have resistance in my form. And this is how, when we were talking about before with rooting, this is how I'm applying it to my form. So who wants to go next?